Mr. Brownback, for first, thank you and welcome to Kosovo.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You have visited the region. What do you think about inter-religious cooperation in this part?
I think it's improving. I think it's a lot better than it was the last couple of times that I've been here. I was here in 1991, just as Slovenia had voted to succeed from the rest of Yugoslavia, and you could see things were starting to pull apart. And I was here in 1995 in Sarajevo and Belgrade, and of course there was huge war and fighting going on. Well, now people are talking about, okay, how do we interact with each other? How do we live together? And so it's on a much better trajectory, but it's still fragile. It's something that really needs to be worked on, and the whole world is watching, because the fight between the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, is something that is popping up in a number of different places, and if people here can get it right, it can be a model for the rest of the world. If people here get it wrong, it'll be a cautionary tale for the rest of the world.
How Kosovo does look like in your eyes in this issue?
My meetings here have been quite good about religious freedom, and I've got 2 more yet to go. But I think everybody is feeling like they can practice their faith freely, but everybody also has concerns. So it's like it's a work in progress, that it's moving. It's been positive. It's much better now than it was. But there's still a number of things that need to be addressed. Some basic religious freedom laws need to be put into place. Practices need to be institutionalized. And at some point in time, there needs to be a really full-scale discussion of reconciliation, of how do we reconcile some of the terrible things that have happened in the past, because you can't just paper over those things. At some point in time, they need to be addressed. And we've seen other countries go through this. Rwanda went through it. South Africa went through it. We need to do more of it in the United States. So those things need to happen, and they have to happen to get a long-term peace and resolution.
In Tirana, you will participate at one conference. The name of conference is Religion as an Instrument of Peace. Can you tell us something more about this event?
Well, unfortunately, religion can be used one or 2 ways. It can be used for good, or it can be used for evil. It can be used for peace. It's been used and cited for war. What we want to talk about here is how religion is a tool for peace in the Balkans. We're focusing particularly on 2 topics. One is religious freedom, and that is that everybody is guaranteed the right to practice their faith peacefully, freely, and without fear. So that everybody should be entitled to practice this faith, no matter who they are, no matter what their faith is, no matter where they are. And that's a foundational principle of religious freedom. The second one is really a discussion of how religions can be used to build the reconciliation that needs to happen within the region. There has been many tragedies that have happened over thousands of years in this region as a crossroads of civilizations. But they have to be reconciled. And how religions and political leaders working or enabling the religious leaders can be really tools and instruments to build a long-term, durable peace, which is what needs to happen. There'll be academics at this, there'll be religious leaders, there'll be political leaders. I'm looking forward to the conference, because I think it's just such a meaty topic that needs to take place, and the whole world knows this region, and they watch what takes place here. And so this is important to get this right and moving in the right direction.
How does Kosovo stand comparing to other regional countries in religious freedom?
I think Kosovo does well. I think it could improve. I think it really needs to take care of some of the basic laws. It needs to be able to have religious institutions, need to be able to register and build buildings and have cemeteries. majority and minority faiths. You've got to guarantee it for everybody. I think it really could stand to work a lot more and closer with the religious communities on what do they need to be able to practice their faith freely. On the other hand, the religious communities that I've met with are able to practice their faith. They are generally pretty free of reprisals. There have been some things that have happened, some vandalism that have happened in certain cases, particularly to some Orthodox churches. So those need to be addressed, and the government needs to address it and protect the institutions, the religious institutions, and then bring to justice anybody that violates these rights. So I think Kosovo's moving in the right direction. I just think there are some basics here that really need to take place, allowing these religious institutions to register, have cemeteries. These are pretty basic things that need to be provided for.
Mr. Brownback, what would you recommend to the religious leaders and believers in Kosovo?
I would tell them to be a force for good, a constructive force in this society. Be a force for peace. This is a region that's known too much war and division. I hope they don't just push for tolerance of each other, but they push for respect and even love of each other. That a Muslim and a Christian could be together as friends and really care for each other, and not just say, okay, I'm going to tolerate you, and people maybe they live in different or divided communities, but that people, and young people particularly, hunger for this, to reach out and to have friends that are different than them, so that they can learn about the differences. I think that would be a very valuable thing for the religious communities to contribute, is that this really building of this sense of we need to respect each other, not just tolerate, respect, and even our target should be to love each other and to be willing to stand up for each other. That's the thing we're missing in too many places in the world, and it's something that really the religious community could contribute here.
Did Kosovo do enough to control religious extremism?
I think we all can do more on fighting religious extremism. We have difficulties with it in the United States. We get Jewish synagogues still attacked. We have churches that get attacked. So I think there's always more that can be done to push back on extremism. I think the key is that the government be committed to fighting violence. And if somebody's violated, if their rights are violated because of their faith, that the government needs to be very clear in prosecuting the individuals that do the wrong, and that there is a restitution that takes place, that there is justice at the other end of it. People have to feel confident that the system itself, the system of laws, is a system of laws that will protect the minorities along with the majority. It has to protect everybody. So I think there's room for improvement and for things to move forward. I'm pleased to see the progress that has taken place, but I think more needs to happen.
Mr. Brownback, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.